It's the show that taught Ash how to use his boomstick. It's episode 12 of World of Stu.
You want a podcast? Well, here's a podcast. You want a podcast? It's the World of Stu.
Hello and welcome to episode 12 of World of Stu. Now, before we get to the topic at hand for this particular episode, it's my great pleasure to once again introduce the greatest co-host a man could ever have. It's Mr. David Turner.
Hey, thank you very much. I'm very honoured. Glad to be back again.
Well, I like to big you up as much as I can, mate. So, right, the topic of tonight's show, for a couple of reasons, is the man, the myth, the legend, the greatest actor of his generation, Mr. Bruce Campbell.
Are we going to have Al Pacino on the phone and make complaining?
No, we're not going to have Al Pacino on the phone and complaining, because Al Pacino has nothing on Mr. Campbell.
Yeah, I do have to agree with you there. Actually, Al Pacino's acting just consists of shouting.
So, a couple of reasons why we're doing this. Number one, as you can probably guess from my introduction of the man, is I am a huge Bruce Campbell fan. And number two is because he has just celebrated his 57th birthday. So we have had, I would guess what, he was 20 odd maybe when he did Evil Dead. So we have had 37 years of Bruce Campbell awesomeness.
See, I think he's aged quite well. I saw him on a clips I've seen him in quite recently. I think he's aging quite well.
He looks better than I do, and he's nearly 20 years older than me.
Only 20 years older.
Yeah, which is quite depressing. Now, I think that when you talk about Bruce Campbell, people fit into one of three categories, right? So I'm going to give you those three categories, and then I'm going to tell you which category I think you fit into.
Okay.
Right, now, the three categories, as far as I'm concerned, when it relates to Bruce Campbell, are hardcore fans who claim that Bruce Campbell is God.
That would be you.
That would be me. We then have the second group would be casual fans who know who Bruce Campbell is from the Evil Dead, and they recognise him when they see him in various different, appearances, TV and film. That would be you.
Yeah, that definitely would be me. And I mentioned some do recognising him later on, because there's a role that I saw him in recently and never realised it was him.
And the third group would be people who have absolutely no idea who Bruce Campbell is until you explain that he is the guy from the 3 Spider-Man films, and suddenly they cotton on, oh yeah, it's the guy from the Evil Dead.
See, I pity those guys.
I pity those guys because they do not know what they're missing out on. So we're not going to go into depth about where he was born and all the rest of it, just to say that Bruce Campbell was born, Bruce Lorne Campbell, in Birmingham, Michigan. Quite ironic, since I'm in Birmingham, UK, on June the 22nd, 1958, which means a couple of days ago he celebrated his 57th birthday.
Hey, I do believe that would make him a Gemini, wouldn't it?
Your grasp of the astrological calendar is far greater than mine, sir.
I may be completely wrong, but I believe that would make him a Gemini, just like me.
So there you go, you and Bruce Campbell have something in common.
Soul kindred spirits.
Another thing you have in common is you've both been photographed with me.
Very true.
So, right, so what we're going to do is we're going to start tonight's show, which is all about Bruce Campbell, with a top 10. Now, again, all top 10s are subjective. Now, this just happens to be my top 10 favourite Bruce Campbell movies. Okay? Doesn't mean that they're the biggest grossing or that they're the most popular in the general world of moviedom, but these are my top 10 personal favourites.
There's something curious about this broadcast.
In at number 10 is Sundown, the Vampire in Retreat.
See, I've never heard of that.
In Sundown, the Vampire in Retreat, Bruce Campbell plays Van Helsing.
Oh, really?
He does, yeah. It's a film about an elderly vampire played by David Carradine, and he wants his colony to live in peace in a little town called Purgatory.
That sounds quite cool already.
Another elder vampire does not want to integrate into society, and there's a vampire civil war. Throw in Bruce Campbell as the descendant of Van Helsing, and he's trying to destroy them all, and of course all comedy and blood ensues.
See, that does sound quite cool, and I don't know, after seeing that Van Helsing film a few years ago with Hugh Jackman in, I'm not sure if I'm ready to see another film with Van Helsing, but that does sound quite cool.
Okay, in at number 9 we have the XYZ, or XYZ, because we're in the UK, Murders, which is also known as Crime Wave. In this one, Bruce plays Ronaldo the heel, who wants to buy a security shop to turn it into the Girly Review. The shop is owned by two partners. One attempts to sell from underneath the other one, so the one who's being cheated out of the money hires two exterminators to kill his partner, and unfortunately an employee named Victor is framed for the murder and ends up on death row.
That kind of sounds quite depressing. Sounds like a serious drama.
Trust me, Dave, it is not a serious drama, particularly when you realise that it's directed by Sam Raimi and was co-written by the Coen brothers.
Ah, well, there you go then. The Coen brothers and Sam Raimi together, that could be just truly awesomeness.
I suggest you check it out, Dave. In at number 8 we have Tornado from 1996, in which Bruce plays a character called Jake Thorne. Now we're not going to discuss this because we're going to get into it in a little bit, because that is one of my 5 films that I picked for us to talk about in more depth. In at number 7 we have another one of my 5 films that we're going to discuss shortly, and that's from 2005, and it's Alien Apocalypse, where he plays a character called Dr. Ivan Hood. But we'll get to that shortly. In at number 6 we have, slight cheat, it's the Spider-Man trilogy.
Yeah, see, what do you think? I think, yeah, all Spider-Man films for me are kind of dated now. I know they're not really many more than 10 years old, but I think, although they're dated, one of the highlights of them are those little couple of minutes in it with Bruce Campbell.
Well, for me, Bruce Campbell steals the show in Spider-Man 3 as the French maitre d'.
Oh, he does. I mean, how often do you see someone playing a French character and like, oh yeah, we're just going to have a comedy French accent, but Bruce Campbell just takes it to another level.
So, of course, he was in those 3 films. In Spider-Man 1, 2002, he was the wrestling ring announcer with the late, great Macho Man Randy Savage.
He was in Spider-Man 2, wasn't he? He was Spider-Man 2, he was the usher, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. Snooty
Yeah.
Usher. You let me down there, Dave. I was expecting after I said Macho Man for you to go, oh yeah.
Oh, I could give it a go. Oh yeah, Macho Man Randy Savage.
That was probably one of the worst Macho Man Randy Savage impressions of all time.
Yeah, so I haven't mentioned Bruce Campbell now. I've got in my head his trying to emulate his accent from Spider-Man 3, the Parker.
So yeah, and in Spider-Man 3 he was the maitre d' from 2007. So in at number 5 on my top 10 Bruce Campbell movies of all time, we have a film called Running Time. Ever heard of that one, Dave?
No, I've never heard of that one.
Okay, in that film he plays a character by the name of Carl. Now, this film is written and directed by Josh Becker, who worked on The Evil Dead and also directed the aforementioned Alien Apocalypse. In Running Time, Campbell's character of Carl is released from prison, but ends up immediately being dragged into a heist with old running mates. He rekindles an old flame and realises that a life of crime is not as glamorous as he once believed it to be.
Oh, kind of sounds quite cool. I like the fact that there's people involved in it who's worked before.
And, interesting note on this film, Dave, it is shot in black and white and in real time with hidden cuts to make it appear as though it is all one take, just like Alfred Hitchcock's Rope.
Ah, see, I do like real-time films. I like films that have that kind of little... You can say it's a gimmick, but I like films that say, like, you know, I remember Johnny Depp did one a few years ago. I like the idea of this film is 90 minutes, everything in this film is 90 minutes or 2 hours, however long it is.
In at number 4 we have My Name is Bruce, in which of course Bruce Campbell plays...
Bruce Campbell?
Exactly. But we'll get to that because that is the third of my 5 films that we're going to discuss. In at number 3 we have Bubba Ho-Tep, in which Bruce Campbell plays Elvis / Sebastian Haff. Which one is he? We just don't know.
See, it's been a long time since I've watched that one, but I just remember him being truly quality in that.
Again, that's another one of my 5 that we're going to discuss. And the last of my 5 that we're going to discuss is in at number 2 on my top 10 list of Bruce Campbell movies of all time. It is a movie called Brain Slasher. It's from 1992, and in it he plays a character called Stover.
Stover?
Yeah, but we'll get to that shortly. Finally, at number 1, can you guess what it is, Dave?
Number 1, well, it has to be one of the Evil Dead films, isn't it?
Which one would you go with?
See, I don't know, it's tricky. I think Evil Dead 3, Army of Darkness, I think he's got that much more traditional action hero role that Evil Dead 2, there's only one word you have to say for it, and that's movie.
So you would go with Evil Dead 2?
I would go with Evil Dead 2.
Ding, 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 ding. You win absolutely nothing because there is no prize, but that is what I picked as my number one Bruce Campbell movie of all time, in which, of course, he plays Ashley J. Williams, and that was from 1987. A sort of sequel / reboot of the original Evil Dead.
Is it that long ago now?
It is indeed, yes.
That makes me feel old.
In fact, that'll be celebrating, its 30th anniversary in a couple of years' time?
Well, I must have been really young when that was made. How was I ever allowed to see that?
Well, you probably saw it on DVD or video later on.
Yeah, I'm sure I probably shouldn't have seen it at such a young age.
So that is my top 10 Bruce Campbell movies of all time. If you agree or disagree, then hit me up with some comments and let me know.
That is all.
So now we are going to take a look at those 5 movies that I mentioned during that top 10 list that I have picked out as, they're not necessarily my 5 favourite movies of all time, but I've picked out a cross-section of Bruce Campbell movies for us to have a look at in more depth. And the first of those is a movie called Tornado.
There is a phenomenon of nature, dark and mysterious, a force that strikes without warning, so powerful and so devastating, it destroys everything in its path.
In Tornado, an auditor from the NAO meets with storm chaser Dr. Branson, who's played by Ernie Hudson.
Ernie Hudson, he was, let me see, I'm remembering his name. Is he the guy from Ghostbusters?
He was Winston Zeddemore in Ghostbusters, Dave.
Yes, Winston Zeddemore.
And his assistant, Jake Thorne, played by, of course, everybody's favourite actor of all time, Bruce Campbell. She is there to evaluate their work on a machine that can detect tornadoes. Jake must make the machine work before they get shut down. Now, the reason why I picked this film, and it is probably a little bit self-indulgent, I will admit, but the reason I picked this film isn't necessarily because it's Bruce Campbell's greatest ever performance or one of his top 5 greatest performances. It's because I have a personal connection to this film.
Oh, really?
I do, yeah.
You tell.
I went to Coventry, of all places, and that is where I met Bruce Campbell.
You're not going to tell me they're shooting in Coventry now, are you?
No, they weren't shooting Tornado in Coventry. I met Bruce Campbell at a memorabilia show in Coventry, and Ernie Hudson happened to be at the exact same show. So, being the geek that I am, I decided to take my copy of Tornado along to get signed by both of them. I went and met Bruce Campbell first, handed over my copy of the Tornado DVD. He looked at it and went something along the lines of, "Oh my God, I haven't signed one of these in years. What are you doing with this terrible film?" And he basically then proceeded to tell me a story about how it was one of Ernie Hudson's first acting roles in a film.
Oh, right.
And he had never met Ernie Hudson, and Ernie Hudson didn't know who Bruce Campbell was. Now, there's a scene in the film where Ernie is down in a cellar, and Bruce Campbell whips open the cellar doors and looks down at him.
Okay.
And Ernie Hudson looks up at Bruce Campbell, and obviously this wasn't in the film. He looked up, and from that looking up and Bruce being silhouetted by the light behind him, he instantly recognised him as the guy from Evil Dead.
Oh, cool.
So he went, "Man, dude, you're the guy from Evil Dead. You're awesome." Right? Now, the thing that makes this story great is that I then took that same DVD to the other side of the hall to Ernie Hudson and gave it to him. Now, he had never actually signed a copy of Tornado. It was the first time that someone had ever asked him to. And as he was signing it, he proceeded to tell me the exact same story.
Cool.
How cool is that?
That is quite cool. And that's the thing. Such a small film, there's absolutely no chance those guys would have gotten together and just gone, "You know what? We're going to have to tell this story about this movie." Because, you expect big actors, don't you? Like, Tom Cruise spends all day talking about Mission Impossible or whatever. It's like, yeah. But a little film like Tornado, shot that many years ago, like, you surprised me even remember it if it's one of those films, don't you?
Yep, but so that's my personal connection to the film, and that is why I picked it out as one of my 5 to have a look at. The second of the 5 that we're going to look at is a film called Alien Apocalypse.
After 40 years in space, 4 brave astronauts return home.
Wasn't Portland in the middle of the woods?
But life as they remember it has changed.
My name is Captain Chuck Burks, United States Air Force.
Aliens have enslaved the human race.
Tell me now, who are you?
What's going on? What are you aliens doing here?
And they are destroying the planet.
Do your work well and you will live. That is your only choice.
What are these aliens doing here?
Wood.
They're here for wood?
They slowly but surely stripping all the trees on Earth.
Now, it's up to one man.
No!
To rise above the tyranny.
What are you doing?
And fight for freedom.
They die, everything dies.
In an epic battle to save the world.
We're gonna take on these aliens. And we're gonna free my friend and all the other slaves at the sawmill. Now, who will join me in my quest? Mr. President, someone's got to lead this rebellion, and if it's not going to be you, then it might as well be me.
Bruce Campbell from Evil Dead and Army of Darkness, and Renee O'Connor from Xena, Warrior Princess. Alien Apocalypse.
You like wood so much? Eat this!
As we've already discussed, Bruce plays a character called Dr. Ivan Hood, who returns to Earth after a 40-year-long mission in space. Unfortunately, upon his return, he discovers that aliens have landed on Earth and enslaved humanity. He then becomes the leader of the human revolution against the alien overlords.
Has he got some kind of accent in that movie if he's Dr. Ivan?
No, he just plays himself, basically.
Alright, cool. It's a bit of a shame, I think he could have done a pretty cool German accent.
This film is a bit of a cheat as well, because it wasn't actually a film that was released for... Well, to be honest with you, Tornado was never released in cinemas. That was a TV film. And Alien Apocalypse was released on... It was a sci-fi film. You know, they make films specifically for sci-fi.
Oh, yeah.
The Sci-Fi Channel, it was one of those. And the reason why I picked this one is because in this film is my favourite ever movie quote.
Oh, really? What's that?
And I have to give you a little bit of a backstory, building up the scene. Basically, Bruce is trying to get the humans together to fight against the alien overlords.
Yeah.
And he encounters some humans who are capturing other humans to sell on to the aliens, bounty hunters. Okay. So he is having this interaction with this bounty hunter. So Dr. Ivan Hood says, "Hey, scumbag, you forgot something." The bounty hunter turns around and goes, "What?" Ivan then shoots him with a crossbow, right? The bounty hunter goes, "You said you're a doctor, you're supposed to heal people." To which Dr. Ivan Hood, played by Bruce I Am a God Campbell, says, "I am. Your stupidity is terminal, and now you're cured." That is my favourite ever movie quote.
Cool.
And that's literally the only reason why I picked it. Plus, the aliens basically rip people's heads off, which is quite cool.
See, that's the thing about Bruce Campbell. The way he delivers one-liners is just... I don't think that there's really any other actor. I don't think even Schwarzenegger can come up to Bruce Campbell and challenge him to a one-liner competition.
A quip-off.
Quip-off, yeah.
So the third of the 5 films that we're having a quick look at is My Name is Bruce.
I thought I told you to ditch all this monster movie crap.
You know his movies.
Maniac Cop? Moonwarp?
You know his name.
Bruce Campbell is the greatest actor of his generation.
Bruce Campbell.
Hey, I know that guy. Unlike most action stars, I can speak, what's the word, English.
He's kind to animals.
Time for some hooch! Hooch for the pooch!
He loves his fans.
Give me your autograph.
Ever see Rawhide?
Yeah.
Well, then you gotta keep them doggies rolling.
And
Mr. Campbell, we need your help.
When your town's in trouble,
A group of teenagers unwittingly unleashed Guan Di, the Chinese god of war and protector of the dead. And unless you help us stop him, he will kill every one of us.
he's the only man
You need someone who can take on a heinous monster and stop him in his tracks.
for the job.
That would be me. Hip, hip, hooray! Showtime, huh?
Guan Di has been unleashed.
I'm sorry, was that unreached?
Grab your guns.
You guys ready for some violence? I'll just have to limp along with this 31 longbow.
45 long slide.
Long slide.
Grab your women.
I want to move that hand.
Sorry about that.
It's time.
And get ready
Sure you're ready for this, Bruce?
Kid, I made a movie in Bulgaria. I'm ready for anything.
for the legend
Retreat!
they call
A rumble from below.
You never told me that this monster was real.
Bruce.
An old
I'm gonna stall the one-ton wonton
He's a protector of bean curd.
before he rips my head off and shoves it in my face. Just you and me, Top Ramen.
Bruce Campbell, Ted Raimi, and Ted Raimi.
Well, it's nice to know that tofu really is good for your health.
My name is Bruce.
Where the heck did you find this Evil Dead shampoo?
Bruce, that's drain cleaner.
Maybe that would explain the burning sensation.
Now, you said you've never seen this.
No, I've seen clips, and I really did quite desperately want to see it when it came out, but it's one of those films that has just gotten away from me over the years.
Now, this is a kind of a tongue-in-cheek homage, so to speak, from Bruce to his fans, people like me, where he's playing himself, but he's playing a sort of over-the-top, jaded, B-movie, hates his life version of himself. So what happens in this film is a fan of Bruce unleashes a monster named Guan Di, who is the Chinese guardian of bean curd.
Guardian of bean curd.
Yeah, he unleashes Guan Di, and he believes that Bruce is as heroic as the characters that he plays on film. So he then goes to Bruce and says, Bruce, you have to help us fight the monster.
Okay, what's sort of a take on the Three Amigos then?
Yeah. Bruce thinks that it's all a set-up by his manager, played by the also awesome Ted Raimi.
Cool.
Right? So he goes along with it thinking it's all just a big set-up for his birthday. Gets there, realises that the monster is actually real, and tries to leave town forever.
As you would.
Yeah, he then has to sort of fight his own demons and be the Bruce Campbell that the fan wants him to be.
Cool. I'm gonna have to try and find this movie.
It is awesome, man. It does take the mickey out of people like me, basically, but that's cool because it's Bruce Campbell doing it, and as far as I'm concerned, Bruce Campbell could walk up to me and punch me in the face, and that would be okay.
Yeah, you might want to tell papers and not wash your face for a couple of weeks.
In fact, I would probably get a tattoo of his fist imprinted on my face.
Yeah, I can't imagine that going down well with your family, to be honest.
No, true. The fourth of the 5 films is Bubba Ho-Tep. This was directed by Don Coscarelli, who's most famous for the Phantasm films. And it stars Bruce Campbell as an aging Elvis Presley in an old folks home. Now, everyone else in the movie believes that he is a character called Sebastian Huff, who is an Elvis impersonator. And basically, the story goes that Elvis swapped places with this impersonator, and then the impersonator died, so nobody believed that Elvis was really Elvis, and he's ended up in this old folks home with a big boil on his penis.
Ouch.
Yes. His best friend there is an elderly guy, a black guy in a wheelchair, who's convinced that he's JFK, and the two of them end up having to battle a soul-sucking mummy by the name of Bubba Ho-Tep.
See, it just sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? It sounds like Scooby-Doo, doesn't it?
But it is awesome.
Yeah. It just sounds like a really bad episode of Scooby-Doo, where, as in actual fact, it's just such an awesome movie. I'm seeing Elvis do it all the way through. I'm not even going to try and do an Elvis accent, because I wouldn't do it justice. But it's just such a cool movie.
And the movie ends with, basically Elvis / Sebastian beating the mummy, and we get this clip.
I felt something inside grating against something soft. I felt like a water balloon with a hole poked in it. I was going down for the last count, and I knew it.
Well, I still have my soul. It's still mine. All mine. The folks up there at Shady Rest, they have theirs too. And they're gonna keep them. Every single one. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And then he dies. Or does he die? Because there was rumour that he was going to be in a sequel where he fought vampires, but that never came to fruition.
Yeah, I heard talk of a sequel, and I got myself a little bit excited about it, but sometimes it just never happened,
And all of this leads us to the fifth and final of the 5 films that I wanted to have a quick talk about, and that is a movie called Mind Warp, or, to give it its German release title, because that's the copy that I own on DVD, Brain Slasher.
The day the Earth died, a new reality was born.
Everyone gets exactly what they want. Everything is fake.
The human race split apart. The lucky ones went to Inworld. The rest were left behind.
You're an Inworlder.
What the hell is happening?
Crawlers got you. Cannibals. Crawler hole.
For one woman, trapped in the universe of her own mind, there's only one way.
What do you want?
To escape.
All I want is
something real.
Turn on. Plug in. Drop out. Mind warp. Part dream. Part nightmare. The ultimate head trip. Mind warp.
Now, Dave, I'm going to give you the sort of general idea of this film, and you tell me where you think you may have heard this before. Okay? In Brain Slasher, the Earth is a wasteland, and humans are living in a place called Inworld. Now, in Inworld, they can plug themselves via a port in the back of their necks into a dream world where they can live out their fantasies, they can perform in operas, they can do basically whatever they want, they can go on holiday wherever they want, and so on and so forth. Where does that sound familiar?
That's sounding awfully familiar. What year was it made again?
This film was made in 1992.
That came significantly before The Matrix, did it not?
I have a sneaking suspicion that Wachowskis have watched Brain Slasher.
Yeah, those guys know their films. The Wachowskis know their movies as well. I'm sure they do.
So anyway, in this film, Bruce Campbell plays a character called Stover, who is the last human standing in the wasteland, what was once Earth. He is surrounded by mutants and cannibals. Now, the point of the movie is that there's a girl inside the Matrix / Inworld who is kicked out, and Stover must then save her from Seer, who is played by Angus Scrimm, who is...
Angus Scrimm? That name sounds very familiar.
The tall man from the Phantasm films.
Oh, yes.
Boy!
Yeah, see, those Phantasm films, those were kind of creepy. They were weird.
Which, of course, all ties into Did You Not Once Buy Me the Phantasm Sphere
I
DVD
did.
set? Yeah.
It was a very cool box set as well.
It's all very circular, this show, isn't it?
A bit like the Phantasm Sphere.
Exactly. And those are the 5 films that I picked out as a demonstration of the sheer awesomeness that is Bruce Campbell, basically.
He is just a total legend.
He is a legend. And it's good that you can recognise that without being the total fanboy that I am, because let's be honest, I'm a little bit sad when it comes to Bruce Campbell.
See, I still love him, and there was one role in recent years which I noticed him in, and I did not even know it was him until the end of the movie. He was in Oz the Great and Powerful.
He was indeed, yeah.
He was. And, you know, as an actor who can just be in that little bit in a movie and have even a fan like me recognise him, just one question before you wrap up Bruce Campbell is, how do you feel about Ash versus the Evil Dead?
I'm looking forward to it as long as they play it in the similar vein to the Evil Dead movies, and I'm not including the new Evil Dead movie in that. If they try to go too much Walking Dead, then it's not going to work.
Yeah, it should have a totally different attitude than Walking Dead. Because, let's be honest, the attitude of Ash, it's just totally different, isn't it? It's kind of, let's get on with killing zombies. It's kind of fun, actually.
But Dave, our Bruce Campbell homage is not done yet.
Ooh,
For
cool.
we have covered movies, now we delve into TV. And we are starting with The Adventures of Briscoe County Jr. Have you ever watched that?
I have never watched that, I have to be honest.
Ran for 27 episodes between 1993 and 1994. Briscoe, who's played by Bruce Campbell, is a Harvard-educated lawyer turned bounty hunter on the trail of John Bly and his gang. Though it's a western, because it is a western, it features sci-fi and steampunk elements. There's an orb from the future and a Professor Wickwire, played by John Astin, who was Gomez Adams in the Addams Family, and he gives Briscoe such things as diving suits, motorcycles and rockets.
Cool.
So it's kind of a western but with sci-fi elements.
I do like the idea about the whole steampunk thing going on as well. That sounds fun.
If you think that sounds good, how about Jack of all trades?
1901, the revolution had been won, and Uncle Sam's favorite son had a job he needed done.
Which brought Jack to a lady, both beautiful and smart, who found his mix intriguing.
A scoundrel with a heart. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, there was never a Lebanon braver, a daring dragoon they see. Off the bold defense of Napoleon's attack, there ain't a French or pirate's road who don't know Jack. From the halls of Montezuma to the shores of Tripoli, sail around the bloody world to defend democracy. And when you need a fighting man, you trust to watch your back. Just ask the bloke right next to you.
Damn right.
It's Jack.
Jack of all trades, again, I have not watched it. I'm sorry, I sound fairly ashamed of myself here, but again, I haven't watched it.
22 episodes in 2000. It's set on a French-controlled island named Pulau Pulau at the turn of the 19th century. Jack Stiles, played by Bruce Campbell, is an American secret agent sent to the island by President Jefferson. He works to stop threats from the likes of Napoleon, and to remain undercover, he adopts the identity of a fictional masked hero, the Daring Dragoon.
Dragoon?
Yes, and in this he also has access to items that would not have been around at the turn of the 19th century. Adventures of Briscoe County, western sci-fi. Jack of all trades is sort of period drama sci-fi.
Well, Bruce Campbell there, he is very much kind of horror sci-fi guy, isn't he?
If anyone could pull it off, Bruce can.
Absolutely.
We're now getting to two shows that I'm betting you have seen: Hercules and Legendary Journeys and Xena Warrior Princess.
See, I saw little bits of those here and there. I never managed to watch all of them or sit down and watch the whole series, but I did watch a bit of it.
He had a recurring role in both, playing the character Autolycus.
Yeah, I can never get used to why he had that name or you can be even saying it.
Because he was in both series, because they sort of crossed over with each other.
Yeah, they did have a few crossovers, didn't they?
And finally, we have Burn Notice. You ever watch Burn Notice?
No, I've seen all the trailers and stuff, and I thought it did look a pretty cool series. But again, it's one of those series where if I had enough time, I would happily sit down and watch it.
That ran for 111 episodes between 2007 and 2013.
Really? I only thought it had 1 or 2 series.
No, in it, Bruce plays Sam Axe, who is a semi-retired covert operative and former Navy SEAL. He's friends with the lead character of the series, Michael Weston, and ends up in many life-threatening situations with him.
See, I do remember seeing him in the trailers for it, seeing ads for it, and I thought, Bruce Campbell, that looks cool.
Yeah, so that is everything that Bruce Campbell does, and the reason why I think he's the greatest actor ever. Because frankly, I don't think that someone like a De Niro or Pacino, for instance, could pull off some of the roles that he does, but I think he could play any role that they do.
Yeah, I think so, actually. And may I add something I was very surprised at recently? I still play my games, and one very popular game, I was playing Call of Duty recently. They had a new zombies mission downloaded from the marketplace, and as I was playing it, as I should start killing zombies, whose voice should come out of the screen? Bruce Campbell. So I can play on my favourite games console, killing the zombies, and Bruce Campbell occasionally quips a one-liner.
What more could you want?
Yeah, I was not expecting that, I have to say, but when I started playing, I was like, hey, that's Bruce Campbell. Of course, my kids were like, who?
That's my kids do know who Bruce Campbell is, I have to admit that. But then I do have a frame up on my wall which has got the 5 pictures of me with celebrities in. And Bruce Campbell is obviously pride of place up there, alongside Danielle Harris, William Forsythe, Ernie Hudson, and Robert Englund.
Danielle Harris. I'm trying to think who she is.
She's like the new Scream Queen. She originally... Have you ever seen Halloween 4 and 5? Probably not.
I have, but I don't think I'd remember her, to be honest.
She was the little girl who was Michael Myers' niece.
Oh, I see.
If you want to know more, then you can always listen to the last episode of World of Stu, where I covered the entire Halloween franchise.
Well, see, me and you have talked about the Halloween franchise, I remember, at length.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you and I will ever manage to agree on that.
Michael Myers is the most awesome slasher of all time.
I don't know, I always preferred Freddy.
Well, anyway, that's a topic for a different time. That basically wraps up everything that I have to say about Bruce Campbell, except I salute you, sir, and happy birthday, Bruce.
Indeed, happy birthday, Mr. Campbell.
So, back to what we do here on World of Stu, and because you're here, Dave, that means it must be time for a review. Now, before we get to that, you have some brand new review music, Dave. So, take a listen to this. So what are you going to review for us today, Dave?
See, I know, what would you like me to go with first? Jurassic World?
Okay, so let's start with Jurassic World. So here we go with Dave's review.
Okay, Jurassic World. Set in the near future, I believe, this movie. However many years since the first Jurassic Park came out. 20 years after the disasters of Jurassic Park, and I'm sure the little details of Jurassic Park 2 and 3 were covered up. The public haven't heard of them.
Couldn't the public not have heard of them? A T-Rex ran rampant in a city.
Well, I'm sure, they could cover it up and just say it was swamp gas or something.
Yeah, don't worry, it wasn't a T-Rex, it was like Godzilla.
It was swamp gas, it was gangs running riot, these things happen.
Okay, so 2 and 3 didn't happen.
Okay, yeah, 2 and 3 didn't happen, and no one's ever heard of those. Actually, the only explanation was the fact that the new Jurassic World theme park is now open in this movie. So, rich people from all over the planet are flocking to see all the dinosaurs in all their various forms. The thing that amazes me in this movie, I'm going to say it straight away, is just the effort they've gone to in realising the park. because all those little rides that you'd see in a park, from the little kids centre to the ocean bit to seeing the ferocious dinosaurs as well, they're all in this park, and I think they've done a fantastic job there. But obviously things can't go to plan because this is a Jurassic Park / world movie.
But Dave,
yeah,
wouldn't you, if you're opening, let's assume they're in the movie world for a sec, if you're opening a theme park based on the idea of the original film, so Jurassic Park, wouldn't you call it something completely different? Like Dinosaur Land?
Yeah, Dinosaur Land could be good.
Or Alton Towers?
Well, considering most of these dinosaurs aren't really supposed to be from the Jurassic era, some of them are from Cretaceous or Triassic, I think actually maybe Triassic Park could have done. But, of course, things start to go wrong. They've got the brand new genetically engineered dinosaur, Indominus Rex, which is a mix of several different types of dinosaur, some of which will be revealed later on in the movie, but we're not going to give any spoilers there. And of course, things do start to go drastically wrong as people get eaten and munched and crunched. And that is something that I was quite pleasantly surprised at in this movie is, if you remember, go back to the first Jurassic Park movie, how much blood really was there. I don't remember there being that much blood, to be honest. But in this movie, there is crunching, there is splattering. It is a truly monstrous movie. I don't know if you agree, but that was where I thought.
See, I've just got several problems with this film, to be honest with you.
Go on, mate.
Well, for instance, in several points in this film, you're just going along and suddenly someone's in peril and all of a sudden they have a new set of skills that we never knew about before that just so happen to get them out of the spot that they're in.
I think you do have a good point there. I think the scene where there's some kids who seem to be very handy at repairing cars in this movie.
Exactly. They're just two normal kids, like whose parents are apparently having a divorce, but you know, who cares? And they find a broken down Jeep that they need to use to escape from the giant Indominus Rex, and all of a sudden they can fix it.
Not just that, but it's a Jeep that's been sat still for 20 years, so really it should need a lot more than a little patchwork, don't you think?
Yeah, and Bryce Dallas Howard as Claire, right? The bit where don't worry about spoilers, Dave, because I'll put a note up saying spoiler alert.
Yeah, spoiler alert. We're going to be very around the scene.
The bit where Owen, played by the awesome Chris Pratt, although not quite as awesome as Bruce Campbell, where he is about to get his face chewed off by a pterodactyl, all of a sudden Claire knows how to use a gun. Now, isn't that convenient?
Well, that is quite convenient. That's the thing. They can't portray her as the quite straight-laced corporate type. She's quite boring. She's quite dull. And all of a sudden she can use a gun. She's becomes progressively exceptionally brave throughout this movie for that straight-laced type.
And what do you think about the fact that she runs around in the entire film in high heels?
Well, that's kind of ridiculous. I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of powerful women who can run around in the high heels, but particularly at the end of the movie, when she outruns a Tyrannosaurus Rex on the high heels, I have to say that did lead into my, I thought was just a total geek B-movie moment. As right at the end of the movie, there's the T-Rex, there's the Indominus Rex, just fighting, and there she is, the scantily clad woman, screaming, "Ah!" in her high heels. And for me it was just a bit of a B-movie moment. It's like, yeah, two dinosaurs fighting, scantily clad woman on the floor. There you go, that's your B-movie.
Yeah, but Indominus Rex makes T-Rex his bitch until the raptors, who flip-flop so many times they should be running for government, turn up and help him out.
Yeah, I did like the raptors in this movie though.
Yeah, but 1 minute they're on Owen's side, the next minute they've turned against him, the next minute they're on his side again. Make up your mind.
They are pretty changeable, and Chris Pratt's character, let's be honest, he's general all-round, hey, I'm heroic, I'm Indy Jones, I'm Harrison Ford, I'm the action guy that everyone loves. And he's great, I do love him, but his character in this movie is rather two-dimensional, don't you think?
Well, he is the dinosaur whisperer.
He is the dinosaur whisperer. If you could whisper to a 6-foot animal with razor-sharp claws.
Robert Redford has nothing on him.
Oh, no, he, yeah. he just trains his dinosaurs. He just trains his dinosaurs to jump up and down, doesn't he?
So, what would you give this out of 10?
See, I'm kind of conflicted on this movie. I really enjoyed it, but I can see that the characters were quite two-dimensional. There was a lot of awfully convenient stuff in it. So, but then we don't really go to see Jurassic Park movies. Great characterization, do we? So I'm very conflicted. I'm going to have to give it 8 out of 10 because I just thoroughly enjoyed it, and the kids enjoyed it, and I loved the fact that there was a little bit of subtext that could carry on to another movie, because they're not going to let this go, are they? Now they've had another big success. We know that 2-3 years time there's going to be, I know, what's it going to be? It can't possibly be another theme park.
No, apparently it's they've greenlit 2 sequels, the first of which will probably be somewhat along the lines of Jurassic War.
See, that'd be quite cool.
But if we've learned anything from Jurassic World is that we have absolutely no chance against dinosaurs, so it's going to be a pretty short film.
Well, see, what they could do, if they train the dinosaurs to use guns, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
And on that note, what other item of interest do you have for us on this review?
See, I don't know if you've heard about this, and I know way back in the day, when we were on Falcon Radio, I was sent to watch a movie called Fight Club. I knew very little about this movie at the time, but it was an absolute revelation of a film, I thought. And I don't think you ever agreed with me on this, of how much of a quality movie it was, but it was just as Edward Norton and Brad Pitt were becoming famous, and since then they've both gone through the stratosphere, Brad Pitt especially, but I'm sure you've heard of David Fincher as well. Since Fight Club, he's made some rather serious good films. But the author of Fight Club, the author of the book, Chuck, now I'm going to try and say this as best I can, Chuck Palahniuk. 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 I can't say it any better than that. But he decided to print the sequel to Fight Club 2, as a comic first. Not as a book. He hasn't sold the screenplay to anyone yet. He's printed out as a comic. And this takes place 10 years after Fight Club, and it's got all the same characters in it. It's got the narrator, Edward Norton's character, who you never find out the name of in the first movie, or indeed the first book. And indeed it's got Tyler Durden and I'm going to give a big spoiler here. To anyone who's never watched Fight Club, obviously Tyler Durden and the narrator, they're the same person, who's got a whole terrible case of multiple personality disorder going on there, which leads to some awful problems in his life. But this book carries on. 10 years later, they've got a kid, a job he hates, taking drugs, obviously medicinal drugs, to stop him having a relapse and another psychotic break. But all is not going to go to plan. His wife, who from the first movie, is putting sugar in his pills because she wants the crazy guy he fell in love with back again. So he's starting to have a bit of a psychotic relapse again. You can see gradually throughout the comic it does get more and more uncomfortable. And obviously this isn't any Batman and Robin, this is no Spider-Man comic. This is a proper adult mess of a comic. So I can heartily recommend this to anyone who wants to read a bit more of an adult comic. Carry on from a story you watched maybe 10-15 years ago now when it came out. I do believe it was around 2000 when Fight Club came out at the cinema. I may be wrong.
It's the first issue that's just come out, is that right?
It's the first issue first issue came out about 3 weeks ago. The second issue is out this week. You should be able to pick it up at any local comic book store, or pop on the internet, try and find it, because it is quite a cool comic. The artwork, I have to say, is quite appropriate for an adult comic. It's not too superhero-y, and the script is pretty fun as well.
So that has been another episode of World of Stu. I'd like to thank Dave for being on the show again.
Thank you very much again. Always welcome.
We are going to close this particular episode with the Guan song from My Name is Bruce. It's all about Guan and the fact that he likes to protect bean curd.
Well, you've got to protect bean curd.
Exactly. If you don't look after your bean curd, nobody else will.
Absolutely.
So I will see you next time on World of Stu, and I hope to get you back very soon, Dave.
Alright, I will see you soon.
And that just leaves me to say that, of course, you can check out the World of Stu on the website, which is silentmovieman.wix.com/World of Stu. You can also have a look at all things World of Stu on our Facebook page, which obviously is World of Stu. So here it is, closing out today's show. It is the Guan song from My Name is Bruce.
The Chinese believe there is a God of everything, a God of the sun, the moon, the wind, and rain.
It's hard to imagine, and it may sound absurd, but there's even a patron saint of bean curd.
Guan is his name. Guan is his name. Guan you, Guan me, Guan Di. Guan is his name. In the mining town of Golik, the year was 1870. The Chinese came to work and rid themselves of poverty.
Then one night it happened, disaster struck. A rumble from below, the Chinese were stuck. An old Chinaman prayed for the loved ones he so cherished,
Bean-tag?
asking the saint of curd to protect the souls who perished.
Guan is his name. Guan is his name. Guan you, Guan me, Guan Di. Guan is his name. With flashing red eyes and a flowing white beard, everyone knew he was a god to be feared.
No living creature survived his wrath. Everyone knew not to ever cross his path.
Guan is his name. Guan is his name. Guan you, Guan me, Guan Di. Guan